What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the No Counts Given podcast, your premier podcast for all things dance. My name is Kyle Rush, and I am your host. I am here every Tuesday. Today, I am very excited, you guys. I just sat a whole weekend watching some amazing, beautiful routines over at DTU Tulsa, and then right after, I got to go to my hotel room, watch some amazing more routines from the rankings, and I cannot wait to break down with you guys some of the most competitive divisions that we've had over these past two events. But before I even move on, I can't wait to share with you guys the new partnership that we have with a new sponsor. And this is going to be big for No Counts Given. We are very excited. Look out on Tuesday episodes. It's not going to be today, but look out for future Tuesday episodes for some segments with our new partner. And drum roll, please.
We were so excited to work with Rebel Athletic this year. I've seen a lot of other teams kind of start to dip their toe into Rebel Athletic for dance, and I've been really impressed with the design and especially the quality of the product. So getting to work with the rep, getting to see the live design, knowing that the quality of product and the materials that are used are so premium really made the decision easy.
Listen, everyone knows Rebel. Everyone knows Rebel. Any dance competition you go to, whether that is all star, high school, college, when you see those costumes shining under those spotlights, that is no doubt a Rebel costume. They are innovative, they push the boundaries in our industry, and that is what I'm all about here at No Counts Given. So I am very excited for this partnership. You guys look out for those Tuesday segments. They are called the Rebel Rewind. I'm not going to give too much information, but on select Tuesdays, keep an eye out for our segment where we're going to be highlighting some of the beautiful costumes from Rebel, as well as some more information. If you're interested in Rebel, head to their website, send them a message, and get started on designing your costume. Of course, we're going to start with the small varsity Pom division over at DTU Tulsa. This division has so much potential with every single team really that we saw hit the floor. Everyone's scoring above that 80.07 range, the highest score being 84.27. So from that first place all the way to that following trail, only a 4.2 difference. Bixby is officially on top, but can they stay there? They closed out the weekend with an 84.27 and the division title, a sharp jump forward for this program that has been fighting to reclaim its footing after a 16th place finish at the 2025 DTU Nationals. Now, listen, here is the thing about Bixby. This is not a program unfamiliar with climbing leaderboards. They've had top five finishes across multiple divisions. Third place in small varsity team performance 2022 DTU Nationals, fifth place small varsity spirit showdown 2024 DTU Nationals, and fifth place in small varsity high kick 2025 DTU Nationals. Bixby has proven that they can break through almost anywhere they set their focus. However, they have not had that luck in Varsity Pom. Now, how does Bixby get into that top five? Okay, you start with doubling down on your strengths. They have incredible palm motion technique, incredible difficulty of those palm motions, and their quality and difficulty of other movements were really in their favor. But if they want to run with the national front runners, the big growth areas are clear: uniqueness of concept and movement, musicality and choreography, and visual effect. These captions don't just add points, they add your identity. One of the tightest battles of the entire weekend came down to McAllister and Union, separated by just 0.07, a slick back bun finish. McAllister pulls ahead for second place. Union, they locked in that third, and the margins tell a whole story. The division, it was a fight. Union came into DTU Tulsa after an 11th place finish at the 2025 DTU National Championships, and what they did here was remind everyone of exactly why they are still a threat. Their biggest weapon, musicality. Union did not just score well, they posted the highest musicality mark in the entire division. Now, for context, on a three-judge panel, two judges had Union in second place. One judge placed them in fourth, putting McAllister and Booker T. Washington ahead. Now, while Booker T delivered a clean and composed routine, I will say this. From an analysis standpoint, I didn't fully agree with the fourth place call. The final outcome, however, still landed in a pretty fair place for this division. In my opinion, it was just that one judge that had put Union in that fourth place. I didn't just quite agree there. Now, let's talk about the performance. Union at Tulsa. For a small team, they punched way above their weight class. Their technique read clean on the first view, and with just a bit more refinement, if they could just refine that execution just a little bit more, this is a team that could quickly shift from a solid regionals contender to a top 10 problem. Let's take a look over at the large varsity Pom division at Dance Team Union Tulsa. You have Edison. They finished first place with that 88.37. Now, following the trail, we have Bishop McGinnis Catholic. They have that 80.43. It was about 8 points that separated from first place to that last place. Now, in between that, from Broken Arrow down, even all the way to Mustang, like I personally, I was a little puzzled with the not with the outcome, but when I was watching it, they all felt very fair. Brought themes, had about similar technical skills, technical usage. But before we continue even getting into all of the results, we have to talk about Edison because Edison didn't just deliver the standout palm of the weekend, they delivered the standout routine of the weekend, especially for me. Now, you guys know I'm a palm fanatic. I love me a good hip hop routine. Do not get me wrong. I love me a good jazz routine, but there's something about palm. There's something about palm. And listen, there's been this conversation about palm themes. Get rid of the themes, no more concepts. We don't want them. I had a whole podcast, not a whole podcast episode about him, but we talked about the themes. Okay. But at this point, themes are they're kind of like the culture of Palm, right? If coaches decide to lean into it, we get it. You're not going to lose points because it's a theme, right? But how can you make it a little bit more innovative? What makes this season tricky is that everybody out there is doing a theme. And when the whole field is trying to be conceptual, it becomes very clear which teams are forcing it and which teams are actually delivering it. Edison delivered Fire and Ice, a theme that we've seen before, yes, but they made it feel fresh, relevant. The music choices, straight heat, pun intended, okay? The moment they hit the floor, the energy was different. This was Palm with intention, textured choreography, bold musical shifts, and pacing that never dipped. The energy was like high the entire time. My heart was like racing the entire time. Now, here's what I appreciated the most with this routine, it was the variety, it was the choreography, it was the musicality, and it was the staging choices. You guys heard me say it. There wasn't a single dead moment. The routine kept you engaged from the opening picture to the final hit. Now, if I'm coaching this team and I'm heading into nationals, here is what I would push: levels. When center is low, I need that whole team to match it. There were great moments of these usage of levels, especially towards the end of the routine, that I felt like if the team just kept the consistency a little bit more, I feel like the score could have just been slightly higher. Okay, now that comes with stamina. The last 20 seconds, we got winded. Feet got soft, motion placement got lost. There wasn't any snap, and we lost that flair. If Edison cleans those final details, this routine becomes a national threat. Broken Arrow and Jinx delivered one of the tightest races at DTU Tulsa, only separated by zero point zero 0.03 for second and third. A margin that thin, it is not just a placement. Okay, that's a photo finish. And before we even dive in, let me give credit where credit is due. Broken Arrow was an incredible host over the weekend. The hospitality, elite. The parents, legendary. The food, unreal. I was talking to one of the parents, and I haven't had a really good loaded baked potato in years. Oh, they made some. They made some, and they were quite literally some of the best baked potatoes I had. So thank you, parents. Broken Arrow came into Tulsa with something to prove. After finishing 10th place at the 2025 DTU National Championships, this early season look really mattered. Why? Because a team sitting at the edge of top 10 only has two options. Okay, you could hold the line and protect your spot in that top 10, or you could break through and get to that top five conversation. At Nationals in 2025, they posted finals with an 85.44. At DTU Tulsa this weekend, they posted finishing the weekend 85.90. Now, before we jump the gun, remember, national scoring is much more brutal. It's tighter, it's tougher, and every flaw gets magnified under those lights. Tulsa gives us momentum, not a prediction. But here's what Tulsa did show us. Broken Arrow opened with a dynamic intro. They had my attention immediately. Strong motions, bold commitment, great energy. Where they started to lose me was the technical execution, and the judges saw the same thing. When your intro hits at a 10 and your motions follow at a 9, but then your technique fluctuates to an 8, and then the execution starts going down to a 7, it's just hard to keep those captions at an all-time high. So here's the question: how will Broken Arrow hold up on the national stage in 2026? All right, let's get into this final division that I have for DTU Tulsa. Before we get into the rankings with Dance Team Union, we have Varsity Hip Hop. Bishop McGinnis Catholic took home that first place with that 86.53, almost 2.5 points, leading the pack. We had Deer Creek following with that 83.97. McAllister in that third place with an 82.97. Bishop McGinnis Catholic Varsity Hip Hop. Let's break it down. This routine has so much going for it. The content is there, the staging is smart, the pictures they're trying to build is clear, but what's holding them back isn't skill, it's consistency. From top to bottom, the routine needs that execution. They need that defining moment where the entire arena collectively goes, oh yeah, that routine. Oh, yeah, that's the routine. Oh, yeah, Bishop McGinnis Catholic. Right now, it's close, but it hasn't quite landed. And I'm going to say this with love: those gimmicks in the sticky section, either remove them or make them intentional. Hip hop rewards authenticity. If you're going to use props, if you're going to use comedy, if you're going to use character moments, we have to feel connected to the music and to the movement and to the dancer. Otherwise, they distract everything from going on, and it makes that caption and those scores just really mushy. Now we have to talk about Deer Creek. I genuinely did feel that that routine should have taken a top spot. It was cleaner, it was more cohesive and stylized. I would say closer to the most authentic to hip hop that we saw on the floor over the weekend, despite a song choice that could have easily thrown off the vibe. The judges didn't agree. They placed Deer Creek sixth in difficulty of hip hop movement. And that score tells us exactly what the judges want next: more textures, more grooves, more foundational hip hop vocabulary, more stylistic risk taking. They've got the cleanliness, they've got the performance. Now they need the hip hop depth to match. And here's why this matters. This is a team that finished in sixth place at the 2025 DTU National Championships, right on the edge of breaking into that top five of one of the most competitive hip hop events of the country. They're knocking on that door. They just haven't kicked through it yet, okay? Did you hear what I said? Stop knocking on the door, kick through that door. Bartsville Varsity Hip Hop quite became one of my standout routines, especially for hip hop of the weekend. And here's the twist: the scores don't fully reflect the potential sitting in this routine. They finished fifth with an 81.53, but that ceiling is way higher than that. Let's talk about strength first, okay? They have great quality of movement and execution. That is where Bartlesville shines through right now. Their movement reads clean, committed, and intentional. You can tell what the dancers are, you could tell what they're trying to communicate as they're dancing. Now, here's what the judges are asking more of. They need more visual effect. It's a small team. How can you utilize each dancer in ways to build pictures and moments in the routines? The uniqueness of concept, it could go straight into that visual effect. If you build on that visual effect and think of the uniqueness through visual effect, you just knocked out two captions. Add some musicality to that visual effect. Keep pushing the boundary in the ways that your team could. Attention, dancers, coaches, and teams. This is your moment. On February 5th, 2026, for the first time ever, Prodigy Dance Convention is coming to Dance Team Union Nationals. Get ready to elevate your performance and your future. Prodigy conventions blend elite training with real recruitment access. Explore jazz, hip hop, pom, technique, acro, plus chances to unlock one on one time with college recruiters. But what makes this event truly special is its home at DTU Nationals, hosted at Dance Team Union Nationals, an organization built to be bold, be authentic, be you. DTU was founded to bring a fresh, coach and dancer focused approach to competitions. They prioritize artistry along with technique and provide feedback that help your teams truly grow, not just compete, and foster a positive, inclusive environment where each dancer is seen and valued. And now you have your chance to stand out. Registration is open. Spots are limited. Go to danceteamunion.com to register and get ready to shine on February 5th at Dance Team Union Nationals in Orlando, Florida. Thursday for another episode of the No Counts Given podcast with Kyle Rush. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.